Welcome to part 3.5 of the Black Sea series. In this video, I'm going to be rigging up Brigs. If you came from part 3 where I rigged up the larger ships, you will notice that in this video, things are a little bit different. Even though there are a lot of similarities between the large ships and these smaller brigs, there are going to be steps that are not going to be found in the rules book. In fact, if you follow that tutorial, you might actually get tripped up. So this video is meant specifically for Brigs. Just like in the previous video, you'll want to varnish these models before you get started. Of course, you'll want the bobbin of thread, some toothpicks, some gel superglue, tweezers, and these manicure scissors. As one of your first steps, I recommend putting this gel superglue, not liquid superglue, but gel, onto something like a palette. We are going to start with the base of the foremast right here, and then go under the main top here, and then swing around back to the base of the bowsprit. Now cut up a length of string that will actually allow you to manipulate it, then form a simple knot, and then thread it over the main mast all the way to the base. After that, pull the thread nice and tight, and form a simple knot right here, and then after that, put some gel superglue onto the thread that you just put at the base of the mast. This will allow it to adhere in place and not move. And then after that, you'll bring it around under the main top right here, and then swing around to avoid all the yards along the way, and then apply some gel superglue onto the base of the bowsprit here. After you do that, wind the thread once or twice around the bowsprit, and then once it sets, go ahead and use a scissors and just cut it off. Make sure to cut off any excess on the other end as well. The next rigging we're going to do is from the main topsail yard to just underneath the foretop, and then back to the base of the bowsprit again. Like before, you'll want to just form a simple knot and then tie that simple knot onto the top of the topsail right here, and then put some super glue to keep it in place. After that, tighten the knot, give it some tension, and then lower it to just below the foretop. And then after that, put 2 rounds around the base of the bowsprit, just like you did before, and then apply super glue onto the foremast and also to the bowsprit to set everything in place, and then cut off the excess on both ends. Next, we're going to go from the main top gallant yard to the fore topsail yard, and then down to the rear of the gammon iron right here. So go ahead and make a simple knot again. Always start with a simple knot. Start at the top of the top gallant yard, place some gel superglue onto the knot that you made, and then tighten it. After that, route the thread onto the top of the fore topsail yard, and then apply gel superglue onto both the rear of the gammon iron as well as the topsail yard. And then tension everything up, not too much tension, just enough to get it nice and taut. Wrap it around the gammon iron area several times, tighten it, and if you notice any slack in the line, if you notice when I pull back on the mainsail, it actually tightens up. So some of this will be corrected when you apply the next step. To finish off this step, just snip off the excess on both ends. For the next step, I'm going to apply rigging to the main top gallant yard and to these 2 holes on the port and starboard sides. This will form the main royal backstay. Create a simple knot and then put it on the main top gallant yard, apply some gel superglue, and then after that, tighten it. Similar to putting thread through an eye of a needle, you'll want to wet it a little bit with a little bit of saliva, water, whatever else, and then carefully thread it through the hole on either side. If you need to, use some tweezers to help you grip and pull the thread through. Do the same thing on the other side through the other hole, and then thread that through as well. Just be sure that before you tension the lines, all the lines are facing the rear of the mast, and then apply enough tension so that the rest of the lines you did earlier are nice and taut. Now apply some gel superglue in both holes. Just go ahead and jam the superglue into those holes and the threads will stay. Tension them a little bit more as you go along, and once you free it up, just check for tension along all the lines, snip off the excess, and this step is done. Next, we'll apply rigging to the main top gallant yard, to the fore top gallant yard, and then down to the front of the gammon iron. Start with a simple knot and tie it onto the top of the main top gallant yard. Apply some gel superglue, let it set and tension it. Make sure the knot is nice and tight. Next, you'll want to apply some gel super glue onto the top of the 4 top gallant yard. Put the thread onto it and then circle it around the front of the gamut iron several times. Apply some gel super glue to this area and then snip off the excess on both ends. The last 4 aft rigging that we're going to do is from the 4 top gallant yard down to the flying jib downhaul and then finally down to the dolphin striker. Start with a basic knot and put it around the top gallant yard on the 4 masts, and then put some gel super glue around the flying jib downhaul and also onto the dolphin striker. Then apply at least 1 or 2 loops around the flying jib downhaul, and then apply enough tension so it's nice and taut, and then also wrap it around once or twice around the dolphin striker. Apply tension until the glue sets, and once you're done with that, go ahead and snip off the front and back access. Onward to the 4 royal backstay, apply thread onto the 4 top gallant masts and then the 2 holes in the front of the ship. With a simple knot, apply some gel super glue onto the top gallant mast. Apply tension to the knot so it's tight, and then after that, thread through the holes on the port and starboard sides like you did the ones in the rear. Apply just enough tension to make these lines taut but not too much, and then apply gel super glue into the 2 holes port and starboard sides. This will allow these threads to stay in place, and then once you're done tensioning everything and applying glue, snip off the excess, but be careful of the rigging that is close to that area. You might cut something else off, so be very careful. The final set of rigging is at the front of the ship. Apply some thread to the flying jib boom downhaul, to the whisker boom, and then finally to the cat head, and do it on both sides in the same areas. Apply some gel super glue to the very tip of the bowsprit right here, and then apply a simple knot, tension it in this area to make it nice and tight, and then once the glue settles, work on one side at a time by applying gel super glue onto the whisker boom and onto the cat head. Circle the thread around the whisker boom at least once, allow it to settle, and then route it close to the cat head and use a toothpick to tension it in place. Push it in place until it sticks, and then repeat it on the other side using the exact same steps. After you're done with the front of the ship, you are basically set with all the rigging for your brig. Go ahead and clean things up by just cutting off the excess, and you are done. Here are some 360-degree views of all the rigging that are on the brig. Take a close look so you can check the work that you had done, and feel free to come back to this tutorial whenever you need to so you don't miss any steps. I hope you join me for sails, rat lines, and flags in the next video. I'll see you then.